All right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Unfiltered. I'm here with Maz, Nazish, and Hannah. Today's a bit of a change of pace, only because we don't usually talk about stuff like this.
No.
But we're going to be talking about how much we personally care about looks in a relationship. I guess let's just start with, like, what are your personal takes? Nazish, I guess you could start.
I want to say that looks matter a lot more than people say they do.
I agree. I think that looks.
Wow, bold statement, Nazish.
Listen,
Yeah.
people, okay,
I
let me
think-
just- yeah,
I guess,
because
all right,
people-
elaborate,
Listen,
please.
I think
Elaborate.
looks matter, and people try to pretend like they don't.
Yeah.
Like, people try so much to take the high road and be like, personality is so much better, but looks matter.
All right, so I know this is going to sound weird because you got two guys here, but I think we're in agreement that looks don't matter that much. And I know how it sounds coming from two guys, but I guess let's talk about it. For you guys are clearly very strong-minded in this whole looks matter thing, so go for it. What's up?
You
Go
want to
ahead.
start?
Go
All
ahead.
right. Well, I think that looks matter, and like the fact that we are sitting here and pretending like they don't, I feel like that's like very typical of us as a society, where we've had it to the point where women have so many different like standards, societal standards for beauty, and like our value is in being beautiful, and then people want to turn around and be like, well, looks don't matter when it comes to a relationship. Clearly they do, because there's a reason why we're held to these like impossible standards.
Well, do you think you're just holding yourself to these standards when there's
No.
two guys like Exhibit A right here telling you that like we don't care as much?
I'm gonna
Are you
preface.
comparing our lives to them?
I need to preface what he says. I need to preface what he says before we do this again. I think looks matter, but I think when it's the only thing that you're looking for, because I've definitely had friends, or like, you know, even when you're younger, I feel especially like in the high school age, when you see someone, you're just infatuated with how they look, and that's dangerous because at some point you know nothing about them, but you're like, oh, so and so is cute. Oh, so and so is pretty. And I think that leads to a dead end at one point because looks it's not a trait, you know. That's my take.
I think
on
it is
that.
a trait.
I think for you to be attracted to someone's personality, you have to initially be attracted to their looks. Like, because like when you go
Facts.
in, when you're looking for a partner like that, you're not going to go in and be like, oh yeah, I'm attracted to her personality, let me get to know her more. No, like you're going to look at her face, you're going to be like, okay, she's pretty, like I find her attractive, let me get to know her more. Let me see if her heart matches up with her face.
You know what? I actually disagree with that one. I think that you can find somebody like unattractive, and then once you get to know them, you'll find them more attractive. Like I think that
But do you
there's
think
definitely,
physically?
yeah, I definitely think that you can build relationships, like friendships or something, that you realize that you feel a little more for them, even if you didn't initially find them attractive because of that. Like even if that's not someone you would have originally gone for because of looks, but then as you get to know them, like your heart softens for them. So I do think like that's in the opposite regard, like that's real.
I feel like you've seen How I Met Your Mother, right?
I haven't actually.
Oh, okay. Damn. There's an episode, and they talk about how, like, when you first meet someone, you think they're really ugly, they look like a manatee. So that's like this giant whale, right? And after a while, you know, you talk to them, whatever, they turn to this mermaid. So it's like this moment of clarity where you're like, oh, maybe that person is really attractive. So actually, yeah, I mean, I'll agree. I think sometimes we tend to glorify people, and you put them in this light, right? I think the second you start, you know, feeling something towards them, like you're going to glorify them, you put them on this pedestal. And all of a sudden, all those flaws that you were looking at, you know, all those little things you're being picky about, they go away.
Yeah, I agree with Hannah's point. Honestly, I would say I personally am 60-40 on the.
Look at that split.
60. You're looking at a split. Yeah, no, I'm more. I think I'm leaning more towards the personality, 60%, 40% looks, because I feel like after that initial, like if you're initially attracted to somebody, or even if you're not, again, I feel like that personality, like your personality is what's gonna make. It's who you are, right? Like that's that's what's gonna make you. So like if you're like gonna be living with someone for the rest of your life, or like this is someone that you want to go for, then you know I feel like personality has to be on the top.
You know what the thing is, though? I feel like being two guys on the pod saying that looks don't matter is so pretentious. I could definitely feel like someone behind the screen's like, what a front, what a flex. Like, we're just lying about it, you know? But I think you got to think about it a lot more. Yeah, obviously, you're not going to talk to someone until you feel like, all right, like, yeah, I do find them attractive. But after that, what is the after that? Is there an after that? Because for you guys, I feel like it sounds like, you know, that's it. They met that one checkbox. Boom, moving on.
No.
That's what you just said.
Well, I think that that's like a bigger checkbox. Like, you know, like there's different things that you can compromise. Like, for example, I can I can compromise someone not having a sense of humor if they're attractive. Like, it's like those things, you know? Like, I don't need a funny guy if he's like nice to look at.
Okay,
like,
but you know that good looking guy about to be a
Yikes.
really ugly 80 and he's not going to be funny.
an ugly what?
he's gonna be an ugly 80, an ugly
We're
70.
all gonna be ugly 80s, like.
Right. So why would you
At least
not
I would
want
have
that
enjoyed
funny
60 years before that. Like.
I mean, I guess, man. I
She's
guess.
a point.
I mean, come on. Yeah, we're
Really?
all gonna
Here's
be
the
ugly
thing.
at one
Really?
point, but
Here's
we
the
won't
thing.
be forever.
Sure, but I think at some point, if the only reason you are attracted to someone, you're talking to them, is because they look good, at some point, like, if there's nothing else to them, then what's
No,
the
obviously,
point?
no.
Well, yeah.
There has to be more to it. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that like looks is end all be all, but I feel like you have to have that initial like really that attraction. I don't know. Like you know how you said that you can find them like more attractive later on. I don't know. I just feel like that's a reach.
Improbable.
I don't know.
I definitely think that you can find them more attractive as it goes on. But like, how would you guys think, like, say that you had everything that, like, somebody had, like, the perfect personality, everything that you were looking for, but you didn't find them attractive. Like, what are you doing in that case? Like, you're still going for them if they have everything else on your checkbox, but you don't think that they're physically attractive.
No. You're not. I mean, I'm not, at least. I don't know about you, but.
I mean, I think you need that first step, but I think that is something that warrants a lot of consideration. I think we're so quick to write off people that you aren't attracted to, and you're just like,
Yeah.
you don't care about
No,
everything
but
else.
But she said like if everything else is there. And
That's what I'm
it's just
saying.
that.
You this is a situation where you'd consider it more, right? If
Really?
they-
Like, yeah.
But like this is something I'm not saying like, oh, you're a little attracted. I'm saying there's nothing at all physically that you're drawn to in them, but they have every other quality you want. Like, would you think that personality, like their personality is so great that you're willing to sacrifice lack of attraction in your entire relationship? And for us, relationships are marriage, right? So like this would be somebody that you married and you're going to spend the rest of your life with this person and you don't find them attractive?
Yeah, I could never do it.
Couldn't be me.
We
Like,
just
if you can, I respect
we
you, like-
we just talked about the fact that if you get to know the person and you literally just said that
That's
you
what-
feel like
that's what
someone could be
I
more
said.
attractive over time.
But that's
Right,
what
but I'm
That's
saying,
different.
like,
That's different.
there's-
She's saying like there's zero attraction. I feel like
I mean, attraction-
anyone
But
But
there can be like a little bit of attraction in the beginning. You know, you're not like.
But I'm saying this is like a scenario,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because
Yeah, I'm
like,
confused
look,
now, too.
there's we all know that there's conventional beauty, and then we know that there's beauty that's like not conventional, but you can grow to love it. But then we also know that just as there's like the conventional beauty, there's like the opposite. Like there's just standard ugly, right? So, and that's like a
Man,
bold
you just
statement.
brutal today.
Sorry, that's a hypothetical though. Like, say that you had somebody that was perfect. Could you go? I mean, unfiltered. Could you go as to say like somebody that you thought was perfect, but then you didn't have that physical attraction? Then in that case, do looks really not matter if they're perfect?
Bro, you know what the problem with that whole statement is? Then I mean,
Then
if
they're
you
not
care about
perfect.
looks, then they're not perfect.
They're not perfect. Like, what's
Yeah.
perfect about that then?
Was a hypothetical.
I'm gonna change the question here. I mean, well, I guess I'm gonna hijack your convo. But
Go ahead.
something I've heard is like, if you notice in English, there's always there's 10 different ways to say the same thing, right? So like when you talk about someone in terms of like their attractiveness, right, you can talk about like, you know, they're pretty, they're cute, they're hot, they're beautiful. But I've always seen people have an issue with those terms because of what they describe. So why do looks matter so much if a lot of people would rather be known as beautiful than hot?
Well, I think that that's because those words describe a different type of attraction. Like, I think that to call somebody pretty is one thing, to call somebody cute is one thing. They have different meanings, you know, like they carry different weight. Like, being cute is not the same thing as being gorgeous.
That's what I'm saying. So which one would you not rather have someone tell you that you're beautiful? And that's like all encompassing.
But, like, how would that work into, like, the personality? Like, how would that change?
Your
I feel like
personality is
if someone finds you beautiful, they find everything about you beautiful. It's not just your looks, right? But if you're saying that looks the only thing that matters, then it shouldn't be an issue.
So
Someone's
you're
just like, oh,
comparing,
she's
like,
hot.
pretty versus beautiful in the sense that beautiful is encompassing and pretty is, like, shallow? Like,
Sure.
I can't say your personality is hot.
That's what I'm
Bro,
saying.
you gotta do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my
if
goodness.
all those words have different meanings, then clearly, like, there's more to something than just looks. 'Cause
well,
then
of
there'd
course,
just be one word.
we're not saying
Yeah, we're
that
not
without
saying-
any doubt that looks is the only thing that's important. But, like, you said 60-40 when it comes to, like, looks. What would it be, like, 45,
I honestly, I can't put a number to it, but I'm just trying to. My point.
I'm not making a point here.
45, 55. I don't know. Does that equate to 100? Yeah. it
All right.
does.
I'm not
Whatever.
putting numbers to it.
Okay,
I'm not
then that's
putting
my numbers.
to
You
it.
said you're 60-40, then those are my numbers.
Okay, we're backing out. I want to ask. Fine, whatever. I don't even know where to go with y'all. Let's
Why
talk
do you
about.
make it seem like
I don't know. Yeah, they're
Because
making
somehow
it.
every
so
question,
confused
every
about?
question is like a different take. Like at one end, it's like, yeah, if their personality was cute, like yeah, I could definitely find them attractive. And it's like,
I didn't say
nah,
that.
they can't be
I
perfect.
didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Whatever. Moving on.
Because
If-
I mean, like, look, you're saying
up?
like there's a different take for each one because again, beauty is subjective, and we're saying that beauty is not the only thing in a relationship, right? Like we're talking about like relationships here, and again, for us as Muslims, that that translates to marriage. So
Sure.
then we're having like a how much do you value beauty on your list? Like say that you have a checklist. You want somebody that's intelligent. You want somebody that is compatible with you, your family, religious, and then you want somebody attractive. It's like how high is attraction on that list for each one of us? For me, clearly, attraction's a little higher on the list than for you guys, and then same for you, Nazir.
Is it number one? Yeah, is it number one?
I wouldn't say it's number one. I think religion has to be number one if we're talking about marriage.
Okay.
Is it number one?
No.
Okay. How high on the list is it?
Yeah,
Well, if we have 5, I'd put it at maybe 3. Like if 5,
What's 2?
Yeah, right. What's more important?
what's more
You
important?
said religion.
You put it
and
at
then-
Religion, education, because you want to be with somebody that you're intellectually compatible with, and you want to be with somebody that you're physically compatible with. You want to see the person that you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with as attractive. And then comes the other things. Like again, I can say that I want somebody that's funny, but I'm not gonna like reject someone that has my top 3 just because I'm funnier than them. You know, like those
Well,
are the things you can.
I think you'll be
compromise
okay
on.
on that one.
I think I will be okay.
Um,
Wait, what? No. I don't
Um,
think I will be.
That
okay.
should be the least of your worries.
Yeah.
I should not be the least of my
Oh,
worries.
so here's
Anyone is funnier than you.
You know
here's like my.
And you are the
overarch-
funnier one?
Oh my. All right.
I don't
Here's my
think so.
overarching take on it.
You know it's true.
Here's my overarching take on it. I think it changes so much as you grow because you start considering different parts of your life. Hannah, like you're making it a very good point to like put that disclaimer out there, right? When we're talking about relationships, like getting married. When you get married, like the next step is like, you know, get your house, get your kids, right? But when you have kids, they're not gonna care how pretty mom is. Like that's
I
not.
mean, if they come out
that's-
ugly, I think they might have a concern. Like, because they're going to
Alright.
grow up. Our world, there's no denying that our world is so, like, beauty is such a big thing in our society.
Let me talk.
Yeah, like, hear me out here. Beauty is
Are you
such
talking
a...
about like pretty privilege here?
I mean, I'm talking about, like, the halo effect. Like, scientifically, people that are pretty are they're more likely to be assumed as smart and nice and funny, too, because beautiful people attract all these ideas that they're, like, perfect, you know? And there is a privilege in that. So I'm saying that we already have such a shallow society. It's only going to get worse because as the years have gone by, even as I've grown up, I've noticed that there's even more and more influence of beauty, and the standards are changing so that they're more constrictive to what beauty is. So I think that it's going to matter whether it's now and me in my relationship versus my kids and their relationship in the future.
Isn't that the point though? Like every time we go on this pod, we talk about society has this viewpoint. We should have this because we shouldn't conform to just what society says. But now we're getting on a pod talking about, well, I would want my kids to be pretty because like, well, what's society gonna say?
Exactly.
But so
I mean, we
because of
live in a
that-
society, like, it's not like we're going to sit here and change it as a whole. Like, not one person's opinion is going to change it because the harsh reality is beauty has been mattered since, like, the start of time. That's why there's even a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, beautify yourself for your spouse because beauty is inherently important.
And then correct me if I'm wrong. I think he also said that. I think it's like the top 3 that we're allowed to choose. Like, beauty is one of the
Yeah, to
traits that
marry.
you should, yeah.
For marriage, it's like to marry for wealth, to marry for status, to marry for beauty, and then there's a couple more. Oh, yeah, and then for honor, I believe. Nope.
I don't know.
I'm trusting
Religion.
you.
My bad, religion.
Maz and I had a convo with the imam maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, something like that. And we were talking about how when you get married, obviously, right, like you need to look for somebody that's going to be good for your kids. And I feel like that kind of shaped my end of it because if you're not looking forward with that mentality, then I feel like you're doing a disservice, not just to yourself, but like to your lineage, right? And we talked about on any episode that we've had with him that, you know, lineage is so important. So that's my take on it. I think that's the only reason I think that's where we differ is like the disconnect is, yeah, like obviously it's a plus. And yeah, for sure, for some people it'll be a deal breaker. We had this whole convo about perfect and perfection. But I feel like if you're chasing perfection and that's the one thing that's holding you up, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, my take is why can't I have my cake and eat it too? If I said religion is number
Bro,
one and
'cause if the-
somebody's religious, no.
If the cake is there and you eat it, there ain't no more cake left.
Well, I would have enjoyed the cake while it was there. Just like you said, like
So
they're
you
gonna be
can't
ugly
have
when
the
it-
cake and eat it too.
No, that's the quote. I'm pretty sure that somebody who said it originally, the first person
He
to
doesn't
say
want a
it,
slice,
they
he
knew it
wants
was
the whole
going.
thing.
Right. Look, if you're
I
saying
think it comes down
you're
to
saying you want somebody that's good for your kids, right? And I'm saying religion's the number one. When you have somebody that's a good Muslim, then they're automatically going to be a good father. They're going to be a good neighbor. They're going to be a good cousin, family member, teacher, because when you have somebody that's religious and follows the deen, and they know, because we know religion, we believe that this is a perfect religion, right? And somebody that's doing their very, very best to follow it is going to be inherently a good person.
I see what you're saying, and I just feel like it's so idealistic.
I don't think it
Ideally,
is.
in a wonderful world, if you were following everything down to a T, you were going to be this perfect, amazing person.
Because
But-
Islamically, that's true. If you
Sure,
were
but if
following
you-
every last thing, then you would be a perfect person.
Man, without going off topic, I feel like there's definitely people that are Islamically beautiful, but that person is not as wonderful.
Is there
Well,
a
then
perfect,
they're
is there a
not
perfect
really-
Muslim? Is what you're saying?
I don't think that there's a perfect Muslim, but I think that there are good Muslims. I think that we all need to strive to be a good Muslim. And I think if you're saying Islamically someone's good, but then them as a person is not good, because I've seen the case where somebody's a hafiz, but then they're a bad person. And it's like, what did you memorize the Quran for? You know, if you're not going to, like, put whatever you've learned into action. So I don't think that you could say that somebody is Islamically good, but then as a person they're not, because clearly they're not taking from Islam and inputting it into their lives to be a good Muslim in the way that Islam teaches us.
That's a good point, but that is a different topic.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
that's
just think
a
it's
good
ideal.
point.
I think
It's
it's
a good
ideal. And
point.
if we're going to live in an ideal world, then yeah,
But
of
that is
course.
something that you
Ideally,
should
I want
keep
my
in
cake and I
mind.
want to eat it too.
Right.
But that's ideal.
But
I-
I don't.
I think the one thing, if I had a real takeaway though, was that I feel like guys can be really shallow, and I think it's probably really important to look past that short-term satisfaction, because I think everybody, at least for guys, right, like you want like that trophy wife, but again, like where you like how far is it gonna get you? I think everything that it's kind of like the things that you can't have, you want. You know what I'm talking about?
But I also
Yeah,
feel like we're talking about it in the sense that we're saying like, oh, you're gonna be a good Muslim and a good this and a good that at the expense of being attractive. But I think that there's plenty of attractive people that are good Muslims and have the qualities we want.
When
Like that, the world's not overrun with like people that are not attractive. You know.
I feel like a lot of people fall into the trap that like, oh, you know what? Like, let's say they do meet a good person, they might think that, oh, you know what? Like this person isn't like as attractive as like I like. There's people will think like, you know what? I could do better than this, right? But then you gotta think about it where it's like if everything else
trying to
lines
one-up
up
each
right,
other.
and you and that you know that attractiveness is at a certain level, but it's not like where at least where you'd want it. Why is that a major
No, because people
deal
have
breaker, I
that.
guess?
People have that thing. They're like, okay, do I want my partner to be less attractive to me, just as attractive as me, or more attractive
So what?
than me?
To answer
yeah.
that question,
Yeah.
What's your
what do you
take
want?
on that?
What is your take on that?
I've never really thought about it that way. Honestly, I think,
Really?
I think like you see somebody, you find them attractive, or you don't. Like you don't think of it, or like, are they just as attractive as me?
Well, let's have the hypothetical. Say that you marry somebody that's more attractive than you, and that's the type of like, you know, because like the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, like he was
Yeah.
attractive, so every woman like believed he was attractive. Say that you marry somebody, of course, never like creation, like the best of creations of Allah, but say that you marry somebody that's very, very attractive, and the type of guy that was walking down the street, and all these girls are like into him. How do you feel about that? Like, is that something that you would prefer because you're like, oh, I got a prize, or you wouldn't want him taking from you?
I mean, I don't think you should think about it that way, because, I mean, if you want someone beautiful, you can't get mad at them for being beautiful and then also
Exactly.
wanted.
I agree.
You know, that's how I see it.
I mean,
What-
if you don't
what
want a
say it
baddie,
out-
don't get
say
a
it out loud, say
baddie.
it out loud.
Like,
I'm not
Say it
gonna
out
lie.
loud.
I will. I'll say it right now. Not gonna lie. I lost you on whatever train of thought you were going on. So I'm not gonna respond on this. I think our disconnect is
lost?
that if you have like looks at 3, you have like personality at 4 or 5.
how? I just put like the 2 most important parts of personality: intellectual compatibility
There's so much
and
more
religious.
to that than personality. Personality is so much more than just where did you go to school and do you pray 5 times a day.
Well, it's not that. I said intellectual compatibility. That's the way that your thoughts.
Homie, you
align
said
your-
education.
No, I didn't.
Somebody wrote a
That
tape back. She
wasn't
Who
said
said
my list,
education.
By the way.
Who
That
said
wasn't my
education?
list, by
You
the way.
said
Did I say that?
education.
I don't think so.
You did
Okay,
say
Okay,
education.
well then I take it
Verbatim.
back. Let me
Education.
return it and say intellectual compatibility, because I think that that's one of the most important things. Whereas I can be with somebody that's less or more attractive than me, I can't be with somebody that's less intelligent than me, because then there's no room for conversations where I'm going to feel mentally challenged for the rest of my life. Like, I would
know,
like to be with somebody more intelligent than me. That's where I would want.
It's kind of hard
Superiority.
to change someone's viewpoint and win an argument when you keep changing everything. You're Satan.
Oh, my bad. Okay, I slipped up between education and intellectual
Uh-huh.
compatibility.
No,
What
I
a big
see what you
difference.
guys are saying though. Like on the all in all, right? Avoiding the bickering. I get what you're saying, that if looks weren't there and you can't be attracted to that person at all, then like you need that. It'd be really stupid and ideal of any guy, whether it be us two or whoever, to say that it does matter and it doesn't matter at the same time, because then you see like, you know, you see the typical girls that a guy goes after, and then you're like, well, that doesn't encompass what you're talking about. So there's also like that end of it. I think that comes back to everything you're saying about society, right? Society puts that image in your head, and then you see it, and then you're like, well, Mazen Masani must be getting up here and just lying.
Well, you know what? I honestly think if a man's following Kendall Jenner and the rest of the
Oh
Kardashians and
my
stuff.
God.
No, I'm serious. If this is
My
what he's
take's a little
scrolling,
different on that.
if he's scrolling through Instagram and this is what he's seeing, and then he has the audacity to turn around and look at me and tell me, yeah, looks don't matter, I think you're lying. Because like, what are you chasing looks for? You're sitting here following girls that will never recognize your existence because they're beautiful. And then you're going to tell me that looks don't matter? Clearly they matter to you, and you're just not prioritizing them in your own relationship, which I think is even worse, that you're trying to go and get them from an external source. Like,
I'm only laughing because we've had this argument so many
Yeah, we've had
times.
when?
We've had this a lot.
I know.
Oh,
No, like in the
you
past.
Oh, in the past,
have
yeah.
this
Brought
take
it up
very
a lot.
often.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the
'cause I
problem
think it's
is
so
that
important.
none of us follow these people to have a
I know.
statement.
We can't. Yeah, we can't
So-
speak to this because like
Really?
here, they take my phone. Good luck, I guess.
I guess in that aspect though, there is a difference between following all these IG models and getting married because there's a difference between lust and marriage.
Well,
So
I
you
think
have
that
that
that's
aspect of
bad
it
if
too.
you're having, like, if you're chasing this lust, but it's not in your own spouse.
So do you think if you don't find someone attractive and you marry them just for their personality, you can have like a mental affair? Is that what you're equating it to?
Wait, what?
What?
She's saying that you're chasing this from an external source. Like,
I mean, look, if I personally, if I'm,
Virtual reality.
that's what it sounds like. That's what Hannah's saying right now.
well, no, I honestly think that that's something that occurs in the sense that, like, say, if your husband was looking at other girls and you're married to him, and he's looking at other girls on Instagram to get his satisfaction from that because he doesn't find you attractive, you're gonna be okay with that?
I'm going back to the whole
I
convo.
wouldn't.
Let's just.
What
My
I mean,
take
that's what you're
on
saying.
You have a very valid take.
Right.
Right.
I
You have a
agree.
very valid take that you're following people that are never gonna follow you back or acknowledge your existence. It's not. There's no argument for that. So I'm not gonna even like try to argue that with you.
My take is different, sort of. So basically, I think that like a lot of people are more like on the end where they're like looks don't matter and all that, but then there are people who care a little bit more about that, and they're just seen as more picky. That's my thing on it. Hannah has her own viewpoint.
Hannah-
I definitely do think that like.
Hannah's just hard to win an argument against.
What?
Um,
You know, I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
as
You
should.
take that however you want to take that.
I'll take it as a compliment.
Hey, yo, closing thoughts though, before we get off on another sideline tangent. From a guy's side, I think it'd just be more important if guys recognize that looks don't matter. But I think that comes with age. I think when you're younger, that's all you care about because, like you said, you see it on media, you see it on the TV, whatever. And as you grow up, you realize how unattainable that is. But I agree, that doesn't mean you should settle either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it comes down to the point that like, you look at someone and you think like, am I settling or am I not? Whether that's in personality or attraction or whatever it is, I feel like that's the ultimate thing you should be looking at. Whether you're settling in whatever category it is.
I think that when it comes to a relationship, you're never going to find the perfect person because no perfect person exists. And so at that point, you're just going to have to decide what's more important to you. You can say that looks are in your top 3. Or like, for example, I'm saying like looks are in my top 3. But if I can meet somebody else that changes that perspective that I have, then so be it. Because like we're not rigid people.
Dude, honestly, I don't think you meet a person. I think time just changes that.
Really.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
Time
we're
changes what you look for.
constantly changing as human beings,
Yeah.
and that's how it
Definitely.
should be. So.
Maz, what's up, man?
I have nothing else.
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add.
This boy was on pause.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, I feel like that's a good combo, guys. If you guys liked the debate style format more, we were just kind of yelling at each other, but I feel like we're seeing some two different sides of an argument. Let us know. We'll try and do episodes more like this in the future. But until next time, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time.